Hello, Scrappy friends. It's Scrappy Kathy here with a layout share that is far bigger than I expected. I thought I would kind of whittle down to practically nothing after Calvinball was over, but I guess I kind of kept up the pace. So I'm going to quickly go through these. Many of these do not have videos, and I'll try to figure out which ones those are and maybe give you a few more details. But as with anything, if you see anything you have questions about, please don't hesitate to ask me on via comments on YouTube or on any of the social platforms. I do try to respond as quickly as possible, assuming I see them, and given the state of social media these days, I'm not sure I see everything that's there. So this first one was a sample page that I did for Scrap-A-Sketch, and this was the sketch, and you can see I was still doing Calvinball, and I counted, and this was 28 points. I wasn't trying for points, but just with the things I would normally use, there were 28 of them. And I did this sketch twice, not intentionally. I did the first one. This was, as you may know, Scrap-A-Sketch is doing 4 seasons in 1 month. And the first season was spring. And so my assignment was to do this sketch with a springtime theme. So I did a Christmas page and totally forgetting the springtime theme part. And then when I remembered, I did it over, and this was my do-over. The Christmas page you'll see later in a kind of a special add-on that Lisa may have to the whole 4 seasons in 1 month event. This page is I think it is Scrap Squad's 12 Days of Spring, and let's see. This has a video. It's also scrap backwards. So, yes, now I recognize that it's the scrap backwards kit. This is crazy. I am totally losing my mind on, I have way too many things for an old person like me to remember. So, this was the original, and I love that checked paper. I didn't have it in green, but I had it in pink in my kit, actually. And I cut tags out of other papers in my kit and pulled stickers and fussy cut things, and did this is Katie saying goodbye to Reese just before they left for Puerto Rico on her great birthday adventure. And today is her birthday, and bless her heart, she's at work, home from her adventure. And so, and there is a video on this one, and it's called, let me see what I titled it. It's A Day in the Life. And this one is also a 12 Days of Spring from Scrap Squad, and I didn't always video them. This one does have a video because it's also for Stash Dive Tuesday. And I've got lots and lots of stickers from my Scrap Backwards sticker sheet, and this photo of Ava, which she's okay with being on anything but Instagram or Snapchat. Okay, here starts the photos of Katie and James actually in Puerto Rico. This is a 12 Days of Spring. It's day number 3, and I do not have a video for this one. I'm using the papers, and the embellishments I'm using here are from the Mind the Scrap March kit, and I've got SpiegelMom Scraps sequins. I think this is 3 different mixes of blues and aquas. And BrambleFox perspectives here, and Dottie About Flare beachy pieces, and ladybug there. I actually really love this page. I love the photo, and James got some really gorgeous photos there. Here's another one of Katie. This was day 2 of spring that was done for, well, this was actually just, I just did the sketch. Sorry, I'm having to check on the back. I just don't remember which ones have videos and which ones don't. This was the sketch, this was the page, and it's another picture of Katie in paradise, and another one with the Mind the Scrap March kits. You can kind of see some of the similarities. I used that same floral paper there, but it has a little bit different look. So another ladybug flare there, and then just a pretty blue one, and a pretty rosy pink one. This is another Scrap-A-Sketch that was done for Challenge Accepted, and it's using the same kit, the same March kits from Mind the Scrap. This was the sketch, and I stuck pretty much with the sketch, and it's, you know, another Katybug looking out to the sunset, and I have a little glass ladybug there. Geotag flare and a peachy flare there. I kind of went with the peach and green side of the kit. This one is using this lift, and it is for Punched Out Thursday and for Jesse Broadmerkel's Subby Hop. And this is a lift of Jesse's. Jessie actually lifted herself, I think, on this one. And I love the big fat banners that are there, layered kind of at wonky angles, and just the series of 3 photos. So 3 action photos of James and Katie on their ATV mud racing day. And I've got a couple BrambleFox perspectives, these stars that are on top of the rainbow pattern flares, which this one pattern paper kind of led me to that. And there were, the ATV was red, and his goggles are red here. There's a little red in each photo, so I picked a red and white pattern paper to cut the florals and leaves. I love this page for some reason. This is Mixed Media Mayhem, and the original was this beauty from Laura Sormani, and it's just gorgeous with the layered strips of paper and the really dimensional florals, and this mixed media kind of right along the edge of where the paper strips end. And I had a different orientation photo, and I layered a lot more behind it. So instead of just going along the edge, which would have just been this part, I just kind of spread it all over the page. And again, using the Mind the Scrap March kits. The doors from there, everything is from there, including these beautiful wood pieces. They're, I think, P13 light chipboard. And they came in the kit, and I considered coloring them, but then I thought they'd be with the rustic wood door and this wood grain piece of packaging. I kind of thought they'd be pretty as they are, and I'd just let the color come from the photo and all that yellow in the background. So there is a video on that. This one is a it's a lift of Nikki Rowland, of Nikki Claire Creates on Instagram. And I think there is not a video for this one. I did it just for the 12 Days of Spring. It's a heavily filtered photo of John and me. I didn't even know this photo existed, and I was looking through some pool photos for a different page, found this, and debated for months whether I was gonna actually scrap it. I thought maybe I'd scrap it, but maybe not put it out there. And I haven't put it very many places, but this was also from the Mind the Scrap March kits. And it's probably my favorite page ever. I like the little spill of sequins there, and the design, Nikki's design here with this really heavily embellished cluster down here, and a smaller heavily embellished cluster with all kinds of different interesting elements. I just really loved it. So I'm happy with that one. This one is another 12 Days of Spring Scraplifts that does not have a video. It is, this is a photo of James snorkeling with the turtles, and there's one of the turtles that he caught. I'm really proud of myself for doing this. This is the inside of it's the punch outs of a BrambleFox perspective, and I managed to save all the letters and actually get them glued down so that they're actually kind of stuck to the page. Here's some more BrambleFox. Here's some Dottie About Flair turtles, and a pink one over here. And all of these papers are from previous Mind the Scrap kits. I think maybe January and February. So there's that. This is another one that is a 12 Days of Spring Scraplifts, the fringe going down. I don't know who did the original, but I really love it. And I did this one without a video, and it's Mind the Scrap March kits. I use this twice. I'll use it on another page later. I cut it in half and used it pretty close together, which I usually don't do. And the original had buttons, so I pulled out some buttons and some little small embellishments that Adam sent me a long time ago. And I love this photo of James and Katie, again, in Puerto Rico. Lots of Puerto Rico pages, including this one. And this one was this beautiful floral page. And this was day 7 in the 12 Days of Spring Scraplifts. And I went all industrial instead of floral here. And I have actual metal gears, and then I die cut some, and I found some buttons that had ATVs with, you know, big wheels on them. I've even found this little pair of goggles. And this Zoom Together title was actually a COVID reference to Zooming with your friends instead of seeing them in person. But I use the word Zoom to be what they're doing down this trail on their ATVs, wearing their crazy masks and goggles. So that was a fun page to do. Again, no video. Here is one. Again, I can see these are Mind the Scrap May kits. That's day 8. And this one does have a video because I did this as my Dottie About Flair design team page. And I'm using, the flare that I'm using here are called Prima Watercolor. And they're based on the, you know, lovely designs and colors of the Prima watercolor paper collections, and I thought they went really well with the orchid and purple sides of the Mind the Scrap March kit. And I even found kind of an orchid colored ladybug for here because I like to put ladybugs on all of Katie Bug's pages. And there's a BrambleFox seagull and beautiful, and geotag here. So I really love this page. That's a BrambleFox die that cut this kind of netting or chain link fence or whatever, however you want to use it. And the sequins are Lilac Blooms by SpiegelMom Scraps, and they were a perfect match to that paper and to the beautiful flare. So this one is probably one of my favorites, and I'm surprised I'm saying that because it's on a creamy beige background, and you know beige and brown and I are not the best of friends. But the Mind the Scrap March kit had these, it had an ephemera pack from 49 and Market that had these shutters, and they were together. I actually sliced them in half, used them here, used a bit of packaging for an upper sill, and this is where I used the other part of that kind of an arched frame. And I used some tropical leaves from BrambleFox, some orangey flare from Dottie About Flair, and there was a little sign in one of the ephemera packs, and this were the words Sweet Life in another ephemera pack. I cut them down to fit on top of each other, and I love the little snail crawling along the windowsill here, looking out to the restaurant where Katie and James ate that night in Old San Juan. So, and this was a pattern paper. This was on a pattern paper, and it was together as well. I cut it in half and then cut it out, fussy cut it out, and did the distressing, and it kind of sort of looks like wallpaper maybe that's been torn. That was my hope. And I used as many of the orangey items as I could in that kit. Again, same kit as this one, but very different pages. And here's another one from that kit. I love that March kit. This is day 9, another one by Nikki Rowland. Well, yeah, another one by Nikki Rowland. And it is, I don't have a video on this because I just did it for that. It wasn't for any of the other things. And I used a stencil here. I used it all under all this stuff. I didn't know it was going to be completely covered up, so I really curved this over to the side so that this rainbow would show. He's showing off his pina colada. They got stuck in Puerto Rico. There were no flights coming into Atlanta because of the weather here in Atlanta. And so he and Katie had to stay an extra 2 days. And he did some work in his hotel room. And after work was done, he kind of was toasting San Juan with a pina colada. And so in honor of that same this paper right here, another sheet of that, I put my die here at the yellow part, and then so that the pineapple was at the yellow part and the leaves were at the green part, and die cut that. And I cut this blue anchor out of the blue part and the pink heart out of the pink part. So I used that paper for just about all these little die cuts. I did a little star there too. And I used some, and this little pair of sunglasses I cut out of that striped paper. And I had some pastel colored flare, which, and I kind of knew I was going pastel here, so I had to really hunt. I also had this pretty pink geotag from BrambleFox and the seagull. And again, I'm running out of seagulls, so I need to order some more. I just love this page. I'm not sure why. I used the frame at the back of where I punched out some tickets from that 49 in Market ephemera pack. And the rest of these embellishments, I think, are all from Pink Fresh that were in there. And I love that I got a chance to do the little hanging painting, actually hanging. So that was fun. Here's another neon. This was from Scrap Backwards, and I used it to do day 10 of the 12 Days of Spring Scraplifts. Whoops, I have a piece of ephemera that didn't get glued down from that last. Here we go. This goes right in there, and I didn't know that it wasn't glued down. Okay, so it's there now. It's a stack of books on the shelf there. Okay, so again, this is, and this was the original for that one by Nikki Rowland that she did for Lottie Loves Paper. This one, this is the lift. I love these little scallops up here and this little corner treatment, and just kind of that whole design with all of the words and embellishments kind of clustered over there. So I did it on black, and I did it with my Scrap Backwards kit. There is a video for this, and I'm really happy with the fact that I got to use this. It just kind of captures the feel of Old San Juan, and I filtered the photos to actually match the papers that I had in my Scrap Backwards kit. So there's that. And this is my my lift of Janet Fritz, also known as Galaxy Girl. This was her original page, and I thought I had a turtle cut file, maybe even that same turtle cut file, and I couldn't find it. And so I thought, okay, not a problem. I have a stencil. I'll use my stencil, because I had made a wall hanging, a canvas wall hanging, using my turtle stencil. Looked through my 12 by 12 stencils, cannot find it. And I vaguely recall maybe one of the kids borrowing it, and it would have been years ago. So anyway, I scanned my wall hanging, and I printed it on 8.5 by 11 paper, and then fussy cut it out and used it on here in place of the cut file. And just the way I kind of cut around it, kind of almost looks like a cut file. I did use a stencil to make my waves, and stamps to make my bubbles. And I used photos. This is James right before they went snorkeling with the turtles. And here he's up giving a thumbs up and saying yay that they'd found the turtles. And I have a couple other little swimming turtle flare that look like babies with their mama. And it was a very simple, wonderful page to do. And it was for one of my favorite scrappers and mixed media artists on the planet. And I was happy to join in her 2000 subby hop. So here is the latest one I did, and I think this one went live today. This was for Stash Dive Tuesday. And I challenged myself to use only things that were on or within arm's length of my desk. And I had done the Scrap Backwards page, which was this one. And so I had all these sticker sheets and things around and all those papers. So you'll recognize this paper on here. And this strip right here is actually taken from my scan of the wall hanging, and it's what I fussy cut this out of. So I was able to get a long strip of that. I had a sticker on one of my sheets. This, I haven't been everywhere, but it's on my list. Piece has been on my desk since Calvinball. And these three sequins were on the floor. I swept up the floor and they were on the floor, so I put them on here after I stopped filming. This flare is from the Dotty About Flare advent calendar, I'm pretty sure. This is a hummingbird that's from a set designed by and for Libby Powell, a friend of Dotty About Flare. And this, you may know her from For the Love of Pretty Paper. This is a gorgeous teal flower that I've had for too long. I was hoarding it. I've wanted to use it 3 or 4 times in the past and haven't done it. And then these sequins are from Fern Gully, from SpiegelMom Scraps, except for, for these. All of the others are there. And I use them here to bring this teal color kind of up into this corner bit. And there's no sketch or design. I kind of started this one just saying, okay, I'm going to use what's on my table. And I did. So I'm happy with that. And there is there a video? Yes, there is a video because it's Stash Dive Tuesday. So those, I think that's 17 pages. And it surprises me that I got that many done. I do realize I'm recording this on Tuesday, and I think I recorded my last one on Saturday. So there was a little bit more than a week involved there. But I'm actually, because there's so many Puerto Rico pages in here, and because I have so many more photos that I've seen James's photos. Katie says she has hundreds that I haven't seen. So I will be scrapping those for a while. I think I'm going to start a separate album for those, and I may throw in some Project Life pages with it, which I haven't done in a very long time. So thank you for watching, and I'll keep you posted on everything I do. I have no idea when I'll do my next share. I'm hoping it's the weekend, Saturday or Sunday. So thank you for watching. Bye. Oh, I guess I'm supposed to do a spending report. I did order the Sara Scraps collection of sequin mixes designed by Sara Scraps from SpiegelMom Scraps. And I am getting ready to today order a few things that I'm going to have delivered to Adam in Manchester so that he can hold on to them for me to take on the cruise. So I'll be spending a little bit of money. And I ordered the Sea Life collection at BrambleFox. There are several Sea Life sets, and they've combined them all into a collection that you can get at a discount off getting the individual packages. And I will admit I also ordered a couple of the individual packages because I wanted extras of those things. And so I'll be, I've spent, that's money that's coming out of my bank account this week. But you know I'll use it all. It's a mindful, all of those are mindful purchases. So I suppose I can be forgiven. So, thanks for watching. Bye.